For those who weren't here yesterday, we had a game called Egg for the PS1, and it's the best PS1 game ever. You should definitely play it. That is my answer. There we go. It's Cheekable. Thank you so much for the sub. Well, I don't want to delay any longer. Let's go over to the reveal. You know, the GMs have been doing a fantastic job of bringing out some of the best of the worst. Honestly, a lot of enjoyable games for the first round, you know. A lot of them fairly objectively bad, but still kind of fun. So let's see if we get that kind of game today. Please welcome on in our GM for today. For the first match, Donkey Klonk. DK. Donkey Klonk. DK. Oh, Donkey Klonk is here. Yeah. Oh, duh. Donkey Klonk. Hello.
Hello. This might be a spoiler to some people, but the match's schedule is publicly posted, and Andy is in this match, so I had to pick out a special game.
Yeah, Andy is in this match, so that's going to be... Well, you didn't have any redraws.
No, because I kind of planned to have an obscure game chosen.
Yeah, and honestly, you posted this game. I'd never even heard of it, and honestly, I couldn't even read the title.
What do you mean? This is a licensed game. It is a game based on one in a series of a dozen movies, a full franchise. Yeah, it's Uuno Turhapuro, muuttaa, maalle for the Commodore 64.
Yeah, or you can translate it to whatever. Uno moves to the countryside. I don't know. This is... I just love the game cover here. Look, gotta do some yard work. Time for us to go pushing this thing.
Yeah, the plowing scene from the movie. It's one of the scenes that are in the game.
Yeah, let me know. So apparently he's a comedic fellow who shows up in the movie. Well, I mean, looking at this picture, he obviously has to be comedic, you know? He's not the most serious garden worker.
I would describe it that's farcical, like a one-man version of the Three Stooges, kind of, because it almost had as many movies.
Yeah, somebody was comparing him a little bit to Ernest, the Ernest movies. Do you think that is a little apt? Have you seen any of the Ernest movies?
No, and I haven't seen this either, but I did link the lore in the Game Master chat. Yeah, this game has lore.
We'll definitely check that out when we get rolling with the game. Well, we have a full hour of this, and I see that this is going to be a high score competition. Whoever gets the high score takes the victory. I don't know what kind of game this is at all. What genre would you put this in if you could?
Well, if it was released today, it would be called an endless runner, but the game has definite stages. It has an ending, so I guess it is an end full runner.
Okay. So, yeah, this is basically Temple Run for the Commodore 64. That's sort of what I'm getting. And I don't know. There are a lot of arcade games that essentially had no ending, or if they had an ending, it was near impossible to get there, or just was when you ran out of lives. Bam, ending shows up, and that's pretty much all you really have. So I would say that that's not too unusual for the time to have a game that, like, keeps going until essentially you do bad enough to die. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about, though, when it comes to this game. I'm just working on getting everything captured and looking so beautiful for this stream. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah. The Commodore 64. So many games came out in Europe that never came out here. And honestly, you know, I feel like we lost, or didn't lose, but missed out on a lot of gold just because it never would have sold here.
I think it was most of the rest of Europe that didn't know of this. This is a game for a very specific market.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, it's a Finnish game. Well, here are the 4 players that we have, everybody. We've got Dragon Lord Carter, Andy, Audrey Sadini, yeah, and Starman. On the bottom right here. These 4 players are going to be trying to get the highest score possible in an hour. Whoever does takes the victory. Oh, Glitchwitch, thank you so much for the resubscription as well. Huge thank you. I really need to go and check out the notification settings because I definitely did not enable any N Knuckles to pop up, but I'm not entirely opposed to N Knuckles.
Yeah, I kind of like the concept of Uuno Turhapuro and Knuckles.
And Knuckles, yeah. I hope Knuckles shows up in this. Okay, I'm checking with the players right now to see when they are ready. Honestly, I'm okay starting a tiny bit early if needed. Andy and Audrey Sadini are ready. Mods, if there is one of you who wants to start the poll for who will win, somebody on the left or somebody on the right, you're welcome to do so.
We don't seem to be getting sound from Andrea Sadini, or maybe you haven't turned it up.
No, I hear it just fine.
Sorry, that was my bad. I have the wrong stream turned on. Yeah, that was just me being silly.
Okay. Ooh, NPC has an interesting idea. We could change the poll to Andy or everybody else. I think that would be a fine bet for us to have. We can go ahead. So, Mod, NPC, you could go ahead and set that poll up if you would like. Or if there is another mod who would be willing to do that, that would be great. Okay, just waiting for Starman. Come on, Starman. I need a response.
I do think this will be a game that favors Andy because it's quite basic arcade,
don't
Twitch reflex style game.
Don't say that. No, you need to. You're biasing the viewers. I think Andy's gonna lose.
Well, I was just trying to commentate this cast.
Oh, that's true. Okay, I'm getting the bot to count down in Discord. Everybody wish the players the best of luck and spam all of your lawn mowing emotes.
Yeah,
what
anything
else?
rural, especially
Rural.
about pigs.
Yeah. Okay, and as soon as I see movement in the first stage, I will start our timer. And here we go. We have a few deaths already. Andy getting some decent dodges. Good.
By the way, this game is considered notoriously difficult. Because you cannot move left or right, you cannot give yourself more time to react.
Yeah. That's fair enough. Let's see. I'm just trying to see. what if the poll popped up. Yeah, I don't even see a poll right now. There might be, though. View all. Current poll, who will win, Andy versus everyone else? Yes, it is up there. You just have to click view all in order to see the current one. Where are you going to vote? I can actually vote now. You know what? I'm voting against Andy. I gotta vote against Andy, you know?
Also, the hitboxes in this game, where that is all about dodging things, are pretty finicky.
Yeah, I can tell. What's interesting about the terrain in this area, the lawn... Oh, I guess it's not a lawnmower. You've got the plow. I think it's a plow. This type of level design was actually fairly common in the Atari era, Atari Commodore 64. I've played some... Oh, I'm trying to remember what the name of the game is. It's not River Raid, but it was on a river. You had a boat and had to navigate a lot of areas that looked and moved about like this, with objects in the middle of it. So auto-scrollers like this, not too surprising, although you're really far to the right of the screen. I'm very concerned about that. There's just not a whole lot of reaction time.
Yeah, this is a very twitch reflex-based game.
Oh, yeah.
Also, your characters move very slowly, which means that you need to react to things sooner than you think you would.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's... Question, are the obstacles random each time you start up?
Yes, the levels are randomly generated as in most endless runners, which is why this is a score attack.
Okay, gotcha. Well, this'll be fun for them.
The levels, however, are always equally long, and you can see how close you are to the end of the level by the matka meter on the bottom.
Ah, yes. We also have the health count at the top left of the little HUD there. I love the giant gray border. You know what? Maybe I'll go ahead and do a little closer cropping because, you know, as much as I love the color gray, I think we can do better. This is also how it always goes when it comes to some of the older consoles like Commodore 64, or I guess it was a home computer. Any home computer, you've got to do some weird stuff when it comes to cropping.
Yeah, the Commodore 64 had a border built in. It's just the way that computer worked.
I mean, it's cool. I'm glad that they had something that made it, you know, a little more exciting than just blackness, you know. So yeah, how did you find this game, Donkey Klonk? I'm a little curious. You don't have to say if they're like super secret websites that you go to.
I live in a neighboring country to this.
Okay, so had you ever seen the show?
No.
Okay. Okay, that just sounds like an excuse to me. I live in a neighboring country. What does...
Our languages are very, very different. I mean, in fact, Finnish is a very different language to many other languages. There are like 3 languages in the Finno-Ugric language family.
Okay. What's the... Can I ask what language you speak over there?
It's Scandinavian.
Scandinavian. Okay, gotcha. Ooh, cool. I have no idea how Scandinavian even sounds, I gotta be honest.
Well, I tried to find a game which is from one of my country's developers, and I did find out. The problem is, it is my nuke.
Yeah, don't feel like you need to spoil your nuke. This game, honestly, I wouldn't have been too surprised if this was a nuke as well. Andy at the top left has a fairly decent start. Look, 250,000 points. This level is long.
Yeah, it's kind of why I picked this for an Andy match, because we might even see level 2.
You're like, yeah, we want to see more than the first level. So, you know, what's kind of cool that I'm seeing just now in this game is that there's parallax. We've got 4 different scrolling speeds when it comes to the terrain. You've got the main terrain, you've got the gardens behind that scrolling at a different speed, and then the mountains and trees and countryside, and then the sky. I don't know how common that was in Commodore 64 games, but I cannot recall any.
The hardware made it pretty... It was a fairly common trick. I won't go into the technical details, but this is a 1986 game, and you can see it doing some neat technical tricks with the Commodore 64 hardware.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Even though there are a lot of technical tricks that can be done, a lot of games just didn't have, or a lot of developers didn't have the know-how in order to do that. But yeah, it looks like the developers here did, and they made it run relatively smoothly. Even Nintendo games, there were very few that had parallax. Like, I don't know, I'm impressed. I'm gonna go ahead and say kudos to the devs for doing that. Oh, you said that you shared lore. I need to go find it. Where is the lore? Where is the lore? Ooh, boo, boo. Okay, I'll go ahead and open that up because I would love for everybody to know the story of what is happening in this. It's extremely important. Okay. So, development. There's a lot of information here. So, here's the deal. Uuno Turhapuro, muuttaa, maalle, which I definitely said wrong, also translates to Uuno Turhapuro moves to the country. It's one of the most interesting games that was released on the Commodore 64 back in the 1980s. First of all, it was a licensed video game based on the Finnish movie. It was also the first commercially successful game in Finland, so it does have a very quirky and special place in video game history. So this game was actually a huge success when it came out in Finland. I don't imagine there were too many locally developed games at that time, though. At least that would be my assumption. The game... Oh, yeah?
No, not that I'm aware of. I don't know of many other Finnish games. Although later on there was Remedy Entertainment, which is Finnish, released the Max Payne series.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it seems like this company actually developed a few different games, but that this was their last game that they made. And, you know, if they had experience from others up until this point, good for them for getting something pretty interesting put together. Okay, let's see. So, this was published in 1986 based on a movie by the same name where Uuno Turhapuro has been gone for a week to salvage his marriage. Upon returning home, he finds a surly message in the fridge of his empty house, after which he leaves with his friends. Apparently the message says, my lawyer will contact you. And that's usually not a good sign, not the message you want to find on your fridge. So he leaves with his friends Harski, I can't read any of this, and Sorselson.
Finnish is actually quite easy to BS your way through because it's phonetically spelled. It's one of the few languages where the writing is entirely phonetic.
But I don't know what sounds these make. So if I learned that, I would probably be able to do it fine. So the game at its heart is side-scrolling. Oh yeah, they are going to do emergency service work, apparently, in order to hopefully help his marriage. I'm not sure exactly how that works. Oh no, the note that he finds also says, I'm not going to tell you where I am. Yeah, this guy, marriage falling apart, and it's all his fault. But per the movie, there's a plot twist. It wasn't his wife who left the message. It was Counselor Tura who wrote the message. He had moved to the country with his wife and daughter without letting Uuno know about it. So, oh my gosh, he has betrayed them. The counselor has betrayed Uuno. In the movie, Uuno had promised his father that he'd plow the potato patch. For this, he borrows a tractor, which he accidentally loses when he jumps out while the engine is running. Uuno and Sorrelson decide to use passing cars for pulling the plow. That's why we have the rope here as he plows the potato patch in order to make it a lot easier. Which I love that idea. That's a great idea. Uuno takes his wife to the side of the road. Oh, no. Yeah. To the side of the road to sunbathe in bikini so that the passing cars would slow down and Sorrelson would have time to hook the plow onto the car. Uuno is on the plow, ready to work on the patch. So the first level of the game is based on a scene from the movie where Sorrelson doesn't have time to unhook the rope from a car, and Uuno has to ride the wheeled plow behind the car over roads and fields. In the game, Uuno is seen going through a barn, and we also encounter Uno's former teacher and his wife. In the movie, Uuno can go over the obstacles, but in the game, he will faint if he bumps into them. Faint, die, one of those. So I think that's... if you can make your job a little bit easier, then go ahead and get some life hacks. You might end up dying, so keep that in consideration. So yeah, I think all the players are doing fairly well. This game is incredibly difficult. I love that people who are playing this are arguing about what this is. Andy is saying that his kuntos ran out and his rajas aren't high enough. Yeah, I agree. You gotta get more rajas. And then you lopu. Yeah, don't lopu. Starman registered a complaint to the board of pulling a lawnmower along by a wire. Okay, so I've let them know this is a plow in a potato field. Maybe that'll help them get the hang of what's going on.
I see that Dragon Lord Carter once used the control to move your arm, which is to move, you press fire and move up and down.
Okay.
That does absolutely nothing.
Well, I mean, it's worth trying. Yeah, you said that it's up to the players to figure out the controls, and this entire beginning section appears to just be up and down.
The entire game is just up and down. But there are 3 very distinct levels.
By the way,
See, Dragon Lord Carter is giving it a high five.
Ah, yeah! Pasama, thank you so much for the raid. Yugi as well for the resub. It's always good to have more people come and join us for the plowing video game. How many video games have you plowing? I can't think of any others. Maybe Mule. Mule, you sometimes plow. Andy just went through a barn. Very nice dodge there. Stardew Valley, that's hoeing, isn't it? Or is it a plow? I think it's a golden hoe.
I can imagine there being more farming simulators, but none I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, farming simulator for sure. You have a plow. I don't think I was very good at that, Gordon, Don't you insult my intellection. I can't believe he would do that. Oh my gosh. What else is happening in this? Well, not too much. Like, I think we're gonna see the same thing over and over again. So I'm gonna try to find out a little bit more information about this character or the company or something. Because we're gonna be... we're probably gonna have a lot more plowing for the rest of the match. Yeah, so this was developed by Amersoft, published by Purebyte. Amersoft made a handful of other games. Purebyte really didn't make too much stuff. They published this, and that was about it. The programming was done by Pasi Hitonen, and the music by Jori Olkonen, who also worked on BMX Kids. That's with a Z, okay? BMX Kids did the high score music there. Also, Netherworld on Commodore 64, and in 2005, a game called Maziac for Windows. That actually... interesting. That was made with Game Maker 5. It's a freeware game out there. I'll have to take a look at that sometime. That could be a little interesting there. Oh, and it... oh, never mind. They didn't actually work on it. The music was taken from their Netherworld game. Because, yeah, the game is freeware and borrowed assets from all over the place. Okay, gotcha.
I'd say you can borrow from your own previous game.
Well, no, he didn't actually work on the new game. It's just he made the music...
if you want to steal that, to steal it from finished video games, then you won't get caught.
Look, if it's freeware, I'd say it's borrowing. I personally think that things like that fall under, whatever it's called. Yeah, that's right. The one thing. Fair use, because you're not making money off of it, and usually it's a parody in some way. You can say that they don't, but I feel like there's a big case to be made there. And honestly, you know, if you make a crappy game that nobody else is going to care about, then you're probably not going to have to worry too much.
But this is a big budget movie license.
Good point. Yeah, so it looks like Starman has figured out how to get through the various barns. Yeah, I don't want to have too many arguments right now about fair use. Yeah, I think, you know, we've seen games recently that have had borrowed assets. I don't really consider them bootlegs, just sort of fan games, you know, things like that. But yeah, this is definitely a licensed video game made in Finland about this guy pushing a plow.
Right after you die, there is a safe zone at the very bottom of the screen, but that runs out quickly once the pathway narrows.
Oh no, Andy got to a split in the road.
Yeah, that is a bit unfair, that one part, because you have to guess which way to go.
Still, I think this is my biggest complaint, that you cannot see very far ahead of you. Yeah, if you're making an auto-scroller, do not put your sprite to the right of the middle of the like, no, it belongs on the left side of the screen.
Yeah, that is a pretty legitimate complaint. Unless you play better.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I haven't done any plowing in my... Wait, have I? I don't... I've used a backhoe. But that wasn't really for farming or for potatoes or anything like that. I've used a hoe. I've driven tractors a couple times, I think. But yeah, I don't think I've ever used any sort of hoe per se. Or any sort of plow per se. Yeah. Have you? Have you, Donkey Klonky, ever gone plowing?
I am not really much of an outdoorsy person.
Well, neither am I, but they made me. Well, I don't know. I like outdoors. I don't really like farms. And I really get hay fever and have terrible allergies whenever I did have to go do any sort of farm work. But yeah, it's not exactly fun.
Andreas Dean is making a really good push right now. He might... Yeah, that's a second place for Andreas.
Apparently, the programmer for this game actually made a game in 2016. Interesting. A game for the Commodore 64. You know, that's something that I've seen a lot lately, that developers who start with a certain genre, even if they go and develop for other consoles or other genres later, will often return to their roots. Like, we had somebody who... from one of yesterday's games, who originally started with text adventures, and then they oh, that was Bubsy 3D. Maybe that wasn't yesterday, that was the day before for Don't Make Us Bored. But he started with text adventures, and the last game that he worked on was a text adventure with Bubsy 3D in the middle there. Yeah. So, that's kind of exciting.
That is quite the rise and fall and rise.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say the redemption arc. No, crap! No! The timer! The timer! I don't even know anymore. How could I do it? I'm sorry, everybody! I'm sorry! Oh, Andy just died! You know what? I'm gonna watch, because our bot is definitely keeping track of things. It's about 25 minutes is what I'd say. Yeah. We'll go ahead and go from there. Yeah, everybody is noting that these 50-50 choices, you know, the possibility of getting success in the 50-50 splits appears to be completely random, and there's really no way to deal with it. You know, you're gonna be in one of those. Maybe you can give the guy a high five if you go the wrong way. I don't know.
Well, there is exactly one of those in the level at the halfway point.
Still pretty bad. Andy, look at this push that Andy is making. We're at 365,000 points.
Yeah, that is a great push. We might see level 2.
Yeah. Okay. And don't worry, everybody. I can adjust the timer. I will probably have to fix it a little bit. I bet we're about a minute behind. Wait, there are 19 movies based off of this dude? What?
I told you it was a one-man Three Stooges.
Yeah, but that's a lot of movies to star in. Yeah, okay. Finnish comedy character by Speed Passanen played by Vesamati Loiri. I have no idea how to say any of this. But he's a ragged man characterized by his tattered string vest, sparse row of teeth, and untidy face, perhaps depicting a Finnish stereotype of a loser. Yeah, that actually really sounds like a one-man Three Stooges, for sure. Andy is extremely mad at this game. He's like, I'm tilted, bro. I was assassinated by nothing. Yeah, that seems like an issue. So, his wife is the daughter of rich industrialist Counselor Tura. Oh, so we have a little bit of a relationship inversion here. Because this was in 1973 that this originally came out, you know, the whole character here. So having a rich wife was probably like a little bit frowned upon, at least in America. That was really frowned upon for a long time.
I don't know if you mentioned this, but the character's name, Uuno Turhapuro, literally translates to Numbskull Empty Brook.
Yeah, Numbskull Empty Brook. True that. Yeah, Uuno is tidy and cleanly, but gets ragged and lazy immediately after marrying a rich woman. Uuno's main pastime is lying on the couch, overeating, and acquiring his father-in-law's money. Okay, so here's the difference when it comes to the Stooges. They were hard-working. They just weren't good at their work, but they always were working odd jobs in order to try to make ends meet. Uuno, on the other hand, just married rich and then became a couch potato. So there you go. Oh my gosh. So as soon as the bot tells us that we have half an hour left, that will be good. Other people are saying this sounds more like Ernest. Maybe a little more like Ernest.
Yeah, I think the lore page that I gave you mentioned Al Bundy as well.
Oh, possibly. Yeah, I'll have to take a look. Sorry, I've got way too many things open right now and not enough brain to do this. Oh my gosh. Speaking of Ernest, my favorite movie has to be Ernest Goes to Jail. My favorite Ernest movie. That is definitely the best of Ernest. It brings back memories though, like, because there's the one scene where Ernest is doing jury duty, and he accidentally breaks the pen and gets ink all over and gets ink in his mouth. And as it turns out, I've done that on accident. It was pretty accurate for what it's like. Ink does not taste good. Okay.
My favorite entry in the Ernest series would be Evans.
Ernest Evans, high quality there. I love it. Okay, we're not quite half an hour into the match, but I messed up the timer, so as soon as the bot tells us that we are at 30 minutes, I will go ahead and correct that for our stream. Yeah, the best part about Ernest, though, was that after breaking the pen in his mouth and getting tons of ink in there, he stuffs paper in to try to soak up the ink, but paper doesn't soak up ink. You need some sort of cloth or something. He should have just gone to the restroom. Oh, I love that the players are constantly talking in Discord about this game. I can't blame them, because this is not the best game ever. 4, 5. Okay, there we go. The timer should be synced up now. I fixed it. Donkey Clonk, I fixed something in my life.
Yeah, thanks to the setup Kuso help bot. Good bot.
Thank you, Corndan, for making a fantastic robot. I imagine the bot is just adorable, okay? Very square-shaped. Kind of has, like, the Lost in Space type flailing arms. Help me, Corndan, or danger, Corndan, danger. Yeah. It's a good bot. Good bot.
Andy is great, making a great push again. We might see level 2. Or not.
Level 2, okay. Let's see, I'm trying to find more about this character. Al Bundy from the show Married with Children is apparently what this guy is somewhat like. Uuno. However, I've never seen Married with Children because that sounds extremely boring. No, how about Married, but we actually have a social life? That would be a good movie. Good show. I'm sorry. Apparently it's really funny, but I have no idea because I've never seen it. Well, okay. Biggest virtue of this guy, though, is that he has a gift of gab that he uses in settling marital problems. Essentially, he manages to get free hot dogs from the hot dog stand and also seduces other women. So, oh my gosh, the Three Stooges would never betray their love. And Ernest would never betray his love. His love usually doesn't love him back, but he would still never betray them. Andy is dead, but still, like, Andy's made some really good pushes.
Yeah, the problem with this game is that you go back quite a bit in the game if you die.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I really hope that we see the second stage, because yes, there is more than one stage in this game. Athena Nightburn, I love that comment. You thought it would be stage 2, but it was Lopu. Yeah, I agree there. So the conventional plot of pretty much all the movies is based on the tension between Uuno and his father-in-law, the mining executive Counselor Tura, disgusted by his dirty son-in-law. He faces constant misfortune on his career when Uuno pops up in the wrong places. When Tura, just appointed as defense minister, orders Uuno into the army, he attains the rank of major in a couple of days. When Tura takes part in the presidential election, Uuno becomes president of Finland by accident.
Wow,
okay.
That is completely unrealistic.
I love it. I also love that there is a link to the president of Finland in this Wikipedia page. It's like, yeah, I know what a president of Finland is. They're the person who is the president. Yeah. Uno's regular helpers are his auto mechanic friends Harski and Sorelson, who help Uuno mainly because he has promised them a small share of Tura's possible heritage. The films also contain numerous cameo appearances by Finnish politicians and celebrities, often as themselves. So there were 20 films between 1973 and 2004. There were only plans for one film, but apparently it was extremely successful. Yeah. I love it. That's absolutely brilliant. So, I'm taking a look at the description of the first film for Uuno, and apparently the plot revolves around Elizabeth trying to get Uuno to go get a job, but he wants to build himself a violin. And bam, instant classic. That's how movies work. You take a plot that sounds incredibly boring and dumb, and suddenly it's a hit.
is no accounting for taste, especially in games.
Yeah. You know what? Kuso6rande, about as hard to pronounce as any of these Finnish names, and Starman Random made very similar progress, very comparable during that attempt, but Kuso6rande has a higher score on the score screen there, so I feel like Andy is still definitely in the lead when it comes to this, but all of the other players are making fairly good pushes.
So what I have now is Andy at 435. Dragon Lord at 140, Andreas Dini at 205, and Starman at 190.
I'm letting the players know that there are other stages past stage 1. That way they can feel comforted a little bit. The thing is, a lot of games, especially for Commodore 64 era, because they didn't have a lot of content, they were usually made very difficult so that, you know, it extended the playtime. A little bit of an artificial extension, but...
Yeah, this game has an easy difficulty setting, but why would I do that?
Wait, it has an easy difficulty? So this...
Easier, the level is a bit shorter.
Oh. Oh, there's a tea party. Yeah, better watch out, Andy. Don't go to the tea party. You gotta plow. Or die. That's fine, too. Lopu. Oh, that's not good. Maybe that means, like, off with your head. You just lop off the head. Bam! Yeah, that's right. Your punishment for not plowing the potato field. Decapitation. Sequel to Decapitat. Zuno. Oh my gosh, this guy, I love his leg animation. Sure, that's pretty much the only animation that we get in this game, but...
And they're showing the high five animation as well, which is completely useless, but good.
Honestly, if you're going to only have 1 or 2 animations, you need to make them good. And I think they did a fine job with that.
Yeah, it's like my last game, at least it was well animated.
Oh yeah. Wait, what was the last game? I can't recall at the moment.
Kangaroody.
Oh, I love Kangaroody. It was well animated and the music was brilliant. I'm a little bit curious about how the votes played out when it came to who's going to win, Andy or one of the other 3 players. I don't know. I don't see the poll right now when I go and click on that. But that's okay. That's okay. Right now, Dragon Lord Carter unfortunately taken a death. Yeah, we were talking yesterday during some of the matches that Commodore 64 actually had pixel-perfect collision detection, and I would say that this game unfortunately uses that.
It's worse than that. The game works on a lane system when it comes to collision detection, except your character moves in pixel and your hitbox moves in lanes, which are 8 pixels.
Why would they do that? I don't like it. Yeah, that is pretty terrible, that if your sprite doesn't always line up with your hitbox, that is a crime. That is bad. But whatever, you could commit crimes like that in the 80s. Nobody would have known better, you know, people playing this would just be like, oh, this is hard, it's kind of fun, but oh, this game is really hard. do, do, do. Run, man, run to the right. Push that plow. Actually, don't push it. Hold on to the plow. You're definitely not pushing it. You are too lazy to push this plow. I'm trying to think, who else could this guy be? Maybe, oh my gosh. I've been watching these videos on YouTube lately, that have, it's essentially some learning English videos, except somebody put, Morrowind or Oblivion music to it. So, you know, this guy is speaking really slowly, and often ends up doing some really stupid stuff because, oh, you know, learning English videos, and he just messed up. And honestly, I think this character is very similar to that guy.
I wouldn't be familiar with that. Well, mostly because I didn't grow up with YouTube. As you can hear, it was a lot of BBC shows.
Yeah, well, I've only been watching them like the last month or two, so I didn't grow up with YouTube either. I didn't grow up with the BBC. Oh my gosh, I remember when I was young, though, I had some cousins who would always come and visit and always acted like they were rich. And they might have been rich at the time, but they definitely weren't later. But yeah, they'd be like, the BBC is so much better than American TV. Whatever. But then I've seen some British comedies, and I would say that either it's much better or much, much worse. And it is never, like, comparable. It's always fantastic or terrible.
Yeah, the nation that gave you Monty Python's Flying Circus is the same nation that gave you Mr. Blobby.
Yeah, they also gave us Little Britain, and I hate that show. I hate it with a passion. It is so freaking dumb. Okay, if anybody wants to go and be very sad about how crappy British humor can be, go watch Little Britain. Wait, are we only starting the prediction now? I'm so confused because I actually voted for who will win. I don't know. There was one and then there wasn't. Well, okay, new prediction, everybody. Feel free to bet. Are we going to see stage 2 or not? We'll go ahead and say Twitch borked. Anyway, I wonder, are there any good comedies from your country, Donkey Klonk?
Not... No, we have the same lowbrow tendencies.
Okay, I'm okay with lowbrow slapstick and such. It's just...
I mean, I'm going to spoil it right now, but the movies we are most famous for are these solemn, difficult dramas.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I love to watch media from other countries. I find it fascinating and really enlightening. I found out, though, that when it comes to German dramas, they are way too depressing for me. So no German dramas for me, okay? I'll go ahead and pass. I've never seen a German comedy either, but if anybody has a German comedy out there, I would love to watch one. Okay, I watched one German show. I would love to see more German shows. Wait, Dollar's Fred, you're telling me to skip German comedies? But yeah, one thing I think is really interesting is that the type of comedy and the way that it changes over time is extremely different for countries, because if you look at Brazil, for example, at least when I was living down there about a decade and a half ago, slapstick was still fairly big. Soap operas were also a pretty big hit, but you know, there wasn't too much that was like comedy that related at all to the United States. I imagine that their form of comedy has evolved a little bit from there, but you know, if I met like one person in Brazil who liked Seinfeld, how about that, huh? One person, and everybody else was like, we just don't get it. We don't understand the humor. Like, but it's Seinfeld, come on! Hey, it's cold, Jerry, it's cold! Yeah, soap operas, I think, are kind of fantastic. The Brazilian soap operas are worth watching. Absolutely.
I think Seinfeld was never big in countries that dub their media, because it gets lost in translation a lot.
Yeah, it definitely would. You would have to have a really good translator, really good localization, and people just didn't really do that in the 90s. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I know that they had some cartoons that were translated. A lot of action movies were translated. It's just the American humor usually didn't show up nearly as much in Brazil as I imagine it would today. Definitely a lot of slapstick. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's strange. I really like British humor as well. I think it's really fun, really very different from what we usually get over here in the States, and it's great. I love the dry humor. What kind of humor do you think is the most common over there, Donkey Clonk? I don't know if you know, but yeah, is there anything
I can't speak for Europe, just because I'm from one part of Europe.
Yeah, but from your part.
Boobs. Boob humor is quite popular.
Okay. I love it. That is pretty hilarious. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel like that still exists plenty over here in the States. It's just that most people don't want to admit it. They're like, wow, that movie was crappy, and then they watch it 50 more times. They're like, wow, isn't this show so bad? Oh, this is a crappy comedy. Better play it one more time to make sure it's that bad. AKA pretty much any Adam Sandler movie. I imagine Adam Sandler movies then might have worked pretty well over there. Maybe Donkey Kong?
I don't really keep in touch with that.
It's for the best. Honestly, I try not to think of Adam Sandler whenever possible. Well, we are 49 minutes into the match. We're getting close to the end. And at this point, Andy has the lead. I think that's pretty clear. Yeah, honestly, the biggest problem that the players are having, I think, is that you have to pay attention the entire time that you're playing. There's no room to look away at all. And Andy's like, my eyes are twitching. My eyes are twitching.
Yeah, I think I said earlier that this is a very twitch-heavy game.
I feel like there might be some ways to cheese a little bit of this, but I'm not sure.
After you die, and when you have a full screen of when the paths are not narrow, you can cheese it at the bottom.
Okay. that makes sense. But as soon as it gets narrow, you're just in for a world of hurt. No, Andy! Don't plow the grass. Grass isn't for plowing. True. So I love that the lore that you gave me, like, specifies, in the movie he runs over objects, but in the video game he can't, he dies. That's just how it is. That's how it is in the video game world. Just things kill you. Things kill everybody. And actually, yeah, I'd argue that versus movies, video game characters are pretty much the weakest of all characters in any media. Video game characters just, yeah, they're dead everywhere. Even the damage tanks, or the damage sponges, even they are weaker than anything in a movie. Oh. Justin, no! Justin has a little round piece of cheese, and I asked him if he could get me one, and then he just tried to give me his half-eaten one. I'm like, no! I don't want your half-eaten cheese, I want the whole cheese.
Is that one of those round red ones? Because
yeah,
I find with those the wax wrapping is hard to distinguish in flavor from the what's inside.
These ones, it's definitely easy to separate the outside from the inside. I don't know exactly what they put in it, but yeah, the wax comes off very easily. And they're delicious. I'm pretty sure it's mozzarella. Hey!
That's because you haven't had proper cheese, bro.
I
you need
have
to
had
have
many
Prestost
cheeses.
and Västerbotten and Greveost.
I don't know what those are. Are those cheeses?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff is asking if I'm lactose intolerant, and it's like certain lactose, certain milk products definitely upset my stomach. This thing of cheese, though, does not. Cheeses generally seem to be fine for me. Milk, though, ugh.
Yeah, and the more aged a cheese is, the less lactose is in it.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Oh my gosh. Got a little circle of cheese. Ow. This is not a hard cheese, though. This is a very soft cheese. Well, we are getting close to the end of this match. The big question is, are we going to see Stage 2? Is Andy going to be able to complete Stage 1? Because he's close. He's really close. Just don't die via grass. Or anything else, for that matter. Oh my gosh. Why is the first stage so long? I know this is the harder difficulty, but it still seems inexcusable, even with it being this, you know, a harder difficulty. So long. Is he gonna make it?
Yeah. Yes!
He's there!
We see stage 2.
Not for very long.
And Loppu.
Loppu indeed. Oh, Andy, in the Discord said, "Yo, I'm the best," and immediately after, "Yo, I'm the worst." Yeah, That was hilarious. That was absolutely
I might
perfect.
not be good at other things, but I'm good at getting the players talking in Discord.
Yeah. No, you're good at a lot of stuff. And honestly, I think with a game like this, you have to take mental breaks because it's just so much like you just have to stare at the screen and make sure you react as quickly as possible to everything that pops up because yeah, it's a pain. But life comes at you fast. I would still say that the odds of anybody else making it that far are very unlikely. We're right at the end of this game.
Yeah, I think it's like 7 or 8 minutes to finish the stage.
Yeah. Do. Are those sheep in the background? They're kind of cute sheep.
It's kind of hard to distinguish if they're sheep and cows. There's some black ones, so I would say it's more likely cows.
I think some of them are
But
sheep
can
fields.
be black as well, yeah.
Maybe they're just friends, the sheep and the cows. Yeah,
I do see horns on some of them, though.
oh, those are definitely more of the cows with horns, but the white blobs, I'm gonna say those are sheep.
But you don't keep the stock like that in the same pack. Nah, never mind.
This music. It's almost been an hour of this music, and like we've definitely had worse.
Yeah, this is a nation famous for the poke and the accordions when it comes to music. Also
I love
for
the
Rude
accordion.
Sandstorm. Do-do-do-do-do.
I love the accordion, and yeah, Darude Sandstorm is cool. I'm gonna go ahead and say that I love Finland. There we go, I said it.
It's a cool country, not just because it's cold.
I mean, that probably helps as well. Maybe. I don't know. Canada's pretty cold. I love that, like, calling somebody cool is a compliment. Calling them cold is an insult. Calling them warm is an accomplishment. And calling them hot can be both an insult and a compliment.
That's a last-minute push from Starman. Starman is now in second.
Really? Very nice job by Starman there. Yeah, it looks like players pretty much as soon as they get a game over, they're pretty much done at this point, and I cannot blame them. You know, with only a minute left, there's no chance.
1 minute.
Yeah.
It takes 8 minutes.
8 minutes? Okay. What a game. Yeah,
Well,
Andy just ran to the
that's the time
restroom.
it took, including deaths.
Yeah. Well, I mean, death slows most people down. Not everybody. Just keep, you know, come right back as a zombie, and bam, they're right back into life. Oh, but yeah, I'm glad that some of the players are still playing the game. Like, it still is a fairly entertaining game in some ways. Is it good? I would say, by today's standards, absolutely not. Possibly by Finnish development standards in the mid-'80s. It's actually pretty dang good. And that is the end of the match, everybody. That is it. Time. Party. Throw your hands up in the air. It's Lopu.
You can also see the other stages on the title screen, which is where most people see them.
Yeah. Andy's like, I'm offline. I'm gone. We're done with this. Well, not too much of a surprise. Andy takes the victory today. Starman, though, made a very nice push into second right towards the end. It would be good for everybody to show the high score screen if they are able. Yeah, we know Andy won. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and invite Andy to come chat. How do you feel that all the players did today?
This is an extremely difficult game. I tested this a lot and only got to stage 2 once.
Hey, just so did I.
Both of you. Yeah, you're like twins. Stage 2 twins, yeah.
I made it to stage 2 for about 3 seconds, but that's fine. I was happy.
It was pretty perfect. It was hilarious, honestly, to see how, like, it didn't even look like you were trying to dodge. You're like, where's the first obstacle I can run into and just die?
I didn't want to run into it. I was just kind of panicked. It seemed like you turned slower than the first stage, I think.
Maybe. I have no idea.
I couldn't really tell, but at the same time, I was kind of popping off.
Yeah, I don't really blame you there. So go ahead and give me a rundown about your thoughts of this game, Andy, especially for an hour of this game.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I did enjoy the music. I kind of wish there was more than just one track.
True. For one track, it was okay.
For one track, it was absolutely okay. It reminded me a lot of Alpiner, but less fair.
Yeah. Like, I think I would rather play Alpiner, to be honest.
Me too. I think I did observe pretty early on that the wheelbarrow was the thing that had the hitbox, not the dude or what's his face, Skull
Uuno,
Numbskull,
whatever.
Banana Man, whatever.
Banana Man. I'm not sure he's a banana man.
I mean, he certainly walks like one. But I digress. Is the bike guy random? Like, do I just have to pick a direction and hope I don't die?
Well, the bike guy is always exactly halfway through the stage, but
I did notice that.
It is random.
I did notice that the first cabin was like a quarter of the way through, and the fork with bike guy was like halfway, and then the guys playing or drinking or whatever, it was like 2/3, etc. I did notice that, but yeah.
Yeah, the bike guy is random, whether he's on the top or on the bottom, so, you know, that's good video game design.
So how do you feel about the hitboxes in this game?
On the objects themselves, pretty fair and generous. On the grass, horrible.
Yeah, I think Donkey Kong was explaining that the game has a lane system that you can't really see.
There are definitely lanes. And again, only the wheelbarrow had the hitbox. So basically, most of my time was spent focusing on the center of the wire that was pulling the wheelbarrow, so I could peripherally notice where the wheelbarrow was and object coming from the right. So I was just focusing like in the dead center of the wire, not blinking as much as I could. My eyes are not happy about that. But,
I mean, hey, it got you the victory. You know, make sure you blink your eyes plenty after this game. Yeah, I'd say we don't see games like this too often, but when they do pop up, it requires a very different way of thinking, you know, doing an auto-scroller for an hour. One big crime from this game, I feel, is that your sprite is way far to the right. Too far.
Yeah, that sure is. It absolutely is.
Yeah, and because of that, there's just not much time to react, and sometimes there's no time to react. You're going to hit something, and it's just too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really do anything about it. So I would say that is one of the biggest video game crimes of this game. But for a Finland game made in the mid-'80s, it's pretty good.
And the music was good. I enjoyed it. I wish, again, more than one track, I wish.
True that. I would definitely love to see or to hear more. Yeah, so Andy, is there anything that you have been playing elsewhere that you've really enjoyed, whether it be new or old games?
So let's see. Aside from the fact that I still play Final Fantasy XIV to this day, I played through Bravely Default 2 recently. I'm working on Monster Hunter Rise kind of slowly, but I am playing through it.
Same here.
Been on a little bit of a classic Doom kick here and there.
Okay. Question for Monster Hunter, what weapon do you use?
I kind of switch around, but if I'm main greatsword. I played the game long enough that I can kind of dabble with anything and be okay, but greatsword's always kind of been the one I want to try to use if I'm trying to win.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's true with most weapons, and then, you know, you just have, well, for me, that I can sort of play with most of the weapons. Seems like everybody who plays Monster Hunter, you know, has like one weapon that just clicks with them. And I don't know why that works. I don't know how, but it's just, that's how the game is. And mine is the freaking insect glaive. I just fly around.
Insect glaive is pretty cool.
Yeah, hit about maybe like 20% of the time, but
but you fly through the air, and that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's sweet. Oh, thank you so much, Andy. Donkey Clonk, thank you for giving out this game. Go have fun, have a great afternoon, evening, morning, possibly for Donkey Clonk, and, you know, take care until next time.
Farewell. Good luck in the few matches for the rest of the night.
Yeah! And see you, Donkey Clonk! Well, everybody, we are moving on to the second of 3 matches for today. Before we do that, I want to give a thank you to all those who have followed and subscribed, Chubo especially, for dropping some hot bongos in chat. Yeah, I said that. Well, I'm going to run a quick ad, and we'll be back with the reveal for Game 2. See you in 1 minute.